Celtic spirituality always believed that God was all around, in the rustling of the wind, in the warmth of the sun, in thin places. They also believed that the thresholds were powerful in life, to enter from one world to another. Celtic Advent is upon us, and while traditional Advent begins November 27th, I'm taking time to spend with the saints, learning from them how they trusted God. Like Saint Brendan the Navigator, who took to the seas, trusting God, and going where God wanted him to go, and doing what God wanted him to do. He established several monasteries all along the coast of Ireland. He didn't fear his sea monsters. So come to Ulsternwell Farm as we learn together how to banish our own sea monsters. At Ulsternwell Farm, I am once again observing a Celtic Advent, which begins earlier. It actually began November 15th. And it encompasses a full 40 days leading up to December 25th. And that is being that the monks and the mystics and the holy people of the Celtic tradition wanted that period, that preparation to Christmas, to be almost like Lent, to mirror Lent, which takes us into Easter. So it is a full 40 days. And I like that a lot for so many reasons. Well, one, it's because our society has become so commercialized, and it seems that the 4 weeks leading up to Christmas, the Advent season, it is all about the hustle and bustle and the shopping. And it's just a flurry of activity. And it seems like those 4 weeks are not enough time to really get into the spirit of Christmas. So for that reason alone, I love observing a Celtic Advent and beginning it November 15th, because it gives me more time to challenge myself. And I say challenge, to challenge myself to slow down, keep it simple, be still before God, and really try to embrace the season for what it is meant to be, the season of renewal, and remembering once again how God so loved the world that he gave us his son, our friend, our Redeemer. But I also like the Celtic Advent tradition because that full 40 days that mirrors the season of Lent. You see, in Lent, I've always saw that time period as my invitation from God to take whatever is bothering me, whatever is challenging me, to take whatever roadblocks I might be facing, to take whatever doubts, whatever heartache, whatever it is that is weighing me down. I always use the season of Lent, those 40 days, to enter into it and just releasing everything that is weighing me down, releasing all my problems to God, vowing that I will not pick them up, I will not try to solve them, I will not do anything for 40 days but pray and trust God. What always happened was at the end of those 40 days in Lent, my problems were diminished. My problems were solved in the most beautiful way that only God could have done. So for Celtic Advent to be 40 days leading us up to Christmas, I embrace the season now to do what I do during Lent. Take whatever is weighing me down and surrender it to God, and not try to solve it, not worry about things. For once, just enter into 40 days without the burdens and with full trust, knowing that come Christmas, there will be the most beautiful gift being presented the gift of an answer, the gift of more light, the gift of peace in a troubled heart. So here at the farm, I have been observing a Celtic Advent for, I think this is my 3rd year now. And during that time, I also read a lot about the Celtic saints and how they showed their trust in God. There was this sense of adventure, a sense of knowing that no matter what is happening in the world, all will indeed be well. Now, that sense of adventure is often captured in Saint Brendan, who was a saint in the 5th century, and he was known for his sense of adventure by just taking to the seas and charting these waters that were unknown, trusting God wherever God was leading him. Lately, I have been hesitant to step into the unknown, and I've been questioning a lot, where's my faith? And so this time of Celtic Advent brings to mind something that happened to me over the summer. I stepped onto paths that I never walked before, and I found something amazing. My neighbor who has the cows that graze in our pasture here, he asked another neighbor if he could use back pastures that go beyond the trail that I run on that are just beautiful. And the neighbor said, sure, you could use it for your cows. We're very neighborly around here. Last summer, he went out into those back pastures that have been used for years, and he mowed paths. He saw me one day about to go for a run on the trail. He stopped me and he told me what he had done. And he said, you should really go there if you want to just get away from everybody who's on the trail. There were a lot more people on the trail than there normally has been. So he said to me, why don't you just get away from everybody and go on these trails that I made? It's really beautiful back there. And I thanked him, but I didn't go. And the reason I didn't go is because I have often seen bears coming from that direction of those back pastures that he created paths in, thinking, I'm not heading back there. That's where the bears come from. This summer, though, for some reason, I ventured out into those back pastures. And he was right. It was so beautiful back there. I just found myself overcoming my fears and heading back there. And I went deeper and deeper into the woods. I went deeper and deeper into all the pastures that he made a path. All of a sudden, I stopped and I looked around and I realized this was the first time in a long time that my heart was actually singing with joy. And I looked around and I thought, this is what I want. And then I had to ask God, I'm like, okay, if my heart is finally singing with joy and this is what I want, what does this all mean? Am I going to become a mountain woman and live off the grid? I still don't know what it all means, but all I know is that my troubled heart finally felt peace when I was on those trails that I knew perhaps dangers were lurking. When I told a friend this whole story, he just started laughing and then he became serious. And he said, did you just hear what you told me? What I heard you say is such an illustration of God leading you. Those trails that you deemed as dangerous were the very ones that gave you peace and awakened your heart to dream again. It is a beautiful time, 40 days, to let go of everything that's troubling you and to find your strength and faith again. To really prepare your heart for the gift of the Christ child. Because that gift isn't a gift that wanted to lull us into complacency or some sentimentality. That gift was given to us to change the world, to change us. Give us the strength to dare to walk on those paths, even though dangers are lurking. Because it's those paths that we're going to find ourselves. In the museum in London, there is an old map. Who made the map put in the midst of the ocean, put warnings. Here be sea monsters. It was capturing how people felt. It was uncharted territory, and there were dangers that we did not know that are lurking. I think that there were sea monsters. In the 1800s, a British explorer, Sir John Franklin, he created another map. And in those same treacherous waters, he didn't write, "Here be sea monsters." He wrote, "Here be God." When we venture forth into unknown territories, when the waters are deep and dark and scary, when a back pasture has paths that lead perhaps to where the bears live, there's nothing to be afraid of. For nothing is gained in our lives until we find the strength to step out in faith. There are no sea monsters. There are no bears that will hurt you. We are reminded always that on our ventures, here be God. Help me to journey beyond the familiar and into the unknown. Give me the faith to leave old ways and break fresh ground with you. Christ of the mysteries, I trust you to be stronger than each storm within me. I will trust in the darkness and know that my times, even now, are in your hand. Tune my spirit to the music of heaven and somehow make my obedience count for you. Amen.
My soul cries out with a joyful shout that the God of my heart is great. And my spirit sings of the wondrous things that you bring to the ones who wait. You fixed your sight on your servant's plight, and my weakness you did not spurn. So from east to west will your name be blessed. Could the world be about to turn? Wipe away all tears, the dawn draws near, the world is about to turn.